think it's actually a bad thing. I used to think that. I'm a little bit picky. It's changed the perception that I have about my days. That's everything. Welcome to a brand new episode of Coffee Dates with Zoe, my brand new series in which I'm going to speak English with you. Honestly, I've been filming these videos for 3 months now, and I'm always astonished by the amount of time that I keep talking and talking and talking. From 1 hour or 1 hour and a half recording, I will then post like 10 minutes of it because I keep editing it out, and I feel like if I talk too much, it's a little bit boring. Yeah, you don't know it, but I keep talking for about, again, 1 hour and a half when I film these videos, and then you will only see like 10% of it. But anyways, welcome back. For the ones who don't know me, I'm Zoe and I always film my videos in Italian. I'm Italian, but I have been living abroad for 2 years, almost 2 years and a half now, and I'm also tutoring English for people who want to learn how to speak better, how to have a proper conversation, and also a little bit of grammar here and there. By the way, if you also want to be tutored by me, I still have a few spots left, so send me a direct message on Instagram and I will answer you. I will tell you a little bit more about it, the cost and everything. I always love chatting with you guys. I always love helping you improve your English because I know how difficult it is to try and improve it when you can't speak it because you don't have the chance to do it on an everyday basis. And also, sorry, this matcha is too good. I know that it's called Coffee Dates with Zoe, so I'm supposed to hold a coffee in my hand, but honestly, this is my latest obsession. It's iced matcha, as simple as that, with sugar-free soy milk, and it's so aesthetic. Anyways, in today's episode, we're gonna practice that because you're gonna hear talking, and hearing plays actually a huge role in the overall English comprehension and in the pronunciation. I will still have a little bit of an Italian accent, and I don't think it's actually a bad thing. I used to think that. I used to think that like I wanted to get rid of my Italian accent once and for all, and that if a person could recognize that I was Italian from my accent, then I wasn't doing a good enough job. But in fact, I think it's kind of nice. It means that everyone is so different in a way. Of course, people can understand me even with my accent because it's not that strong, and I've been working to keep it as low as possible, but now I'm not trying to hide it as much as I was doing before. Today's topic is healthy habits that I introduced in my life and that have completely changed it from the very first day I started introducing them. But of course, when talking about habits, one thing that I would like to highlight is that you have to be patient, because when you're patient, then you will see the results. The results of habits are always or quite often shown in the long term. For example, I'm not doing my skincare today expecting the results tomorrow, but I will probably see the results of what I'm doing in 1 month. And that's the same with a lot of other stuff that everyone keeps telling us that we need to do, like working out or eating healthy or journaling or meditating. The healthy habits I'm going to talk about today are not exactly the healthy habits that you would imagine, and not the mainstream ones. I tried to think about those habits that have been in my life for quite some time now and that have helped me so much, but are not the most common and popular ones, and not everybody talks about them. By the way, you can find my matcha recipe if you're curious on how I do my matcha every morning on my Instagram and on my TikTok, and make sure to follow me also there because I've been posting a lot of contents for self-improvement, self-growth. So the first healthy habit that I started introducing about 6 months ago, I would say, and I still swear by every single day even now, is waking up early, but not necessarily to be productive. Waking up early and having the time to be calm, to do my things at my own pace without rushing, without having to run out the door the second I wake up because I'm late for work, for uni, has changed the perception that I have about my days and the way I honestly experience every single day of my life, because I feel like my anxiety has lowered. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling like I have control of my time. For all the people who, like me, actually have the possibility, because maybe, for example, the earliest I have to be in uni or at work is at 9, I still have plenty of time. Wake up around 5:30, 6. It depends also on the days, because that's another thing that I will talk about later, but flexibility is key. Anyways, try to wake up a little bit earlier and see what you can do. Generally, what I like to do, especially on a Monday morning, because Monday is the toughest day for me. It means that the weekend is over. It means that I have a full week ahead. It means that I have to do a lot of stuff. So for me, Monday morning is especially important. And what I like to do is wake up earlier than every other day of the week. So I would wake up around 5 even if I can. If I went to sleep the night before, a little bit earlier than usual. And then I would wake up, I would have my breakfast. I usually keep that special breakfast. I know, or at least I'm quite sure of it, that a lot of people have that one morning in which they are treating themselves and they're making their special breakfast, and usually is during the weekend. Well, for me, that special thing is on Monday morning. During the weekend, I still have my usual breakfast, which I still enjoy anyways, but on Monday, I feel like treating myself, so I will prepare my matcha a little bit better. I will maybe do a strawberry or a cherry matcha with some jam at the bottom, or I would eat my favorite cookies. I would bake something during the weekend that I will have then for breakfast on Monday, and that is the greatest thing for my body and for my mind. And after that, I will start reading. And what I've been liking to do recently is reading fantasy books, romance books kind of. I noticed that, of course, I love more serious, I would say, literature and serious kind of books and self-improvement ones. I feel like they're all very beneficial, and as a person who's always been passionate about reading, of course, I'm a little bit picky when it comes to the writing style. I know when it's actually written in a good way and not in a very good way, but sometimes I try to get over it. I try to not look too much into it and just read also books that are maybe not as beautifully written as others, but that have a nice plot, something really light. And that has been, for the past 2 weeks, my latest obsession also. This saga, this series is ACOTAR. I actually discovered it thanks to one of my closest friends right now, and she's been obsessed with it when we met. So I remember her talking about it so much, but I never actually looked into it that much until she was like standing next to me in a bookstore and she told me, you need to try and get it. And she started telling me what the book was about, and then I realized that I would probably like it even if it's not the most beautifully written book ever. And I ended up being obsessed. Like, I'm telling you, obsessed with it. I read first 3 books of this saga. There is a total of 5 books, but as I understood, just the 3 books are fundamental. The other ones you can read them or not read them. But anyways, I ended up reading the first 3 in like 2 weeks literally. I've been reading all of them in March. This is the 3rd one that I'm still reading, but I just have a few pages left and I started it yesterday. So I spent my entire weekend just reading and doing nothing else because I couldn't get away from it. So I would say it's not the best book ever, but it's a very nice way to also get over prejudices and get over the things that we impose ourselves, like, oh, I want to read just self-improvement books or whatever, and try to see what we enjoy doing, especially in the morning. Again, pick your morning routine wisely. And another thing that I really necessarily have to put in my morning routine, it's a non-negotiable for me, is my skincare, but a very long one. Like, even if I'm using 3 products right now, like literally the moisturizer, eye cream, and the SPF, but what I like to do is still do a little bit of gua sha or face icing, something that makes me feel fancier, makes me feel like I'm starting my successful day like a successful person. That's everything. And don't forget how important is that your body also feels good. And I found out that for me personally, just getting outside, first things first, like after breakfast, after reading, the next thing that I do is planning to go outside. So I just go for a walk in the park, and that boosts my mood so much. Soaking up that fresh air, it's amazing, especially because no one is awake that early and no one is around that early. It makes me feel like calmer in a way. I don't know how to say it. When I'm walking around and nobody's there except for people running so that they have the same goals I have, or people walking their dog, which I love dogs, I would like to see them everywhere, makes me feel like I'm living in a perfect world, if you know what I mean. And another thing that I would recommend if you don't have time to maybe work out in the morning, because I feel like I wouldn't have had the time during high school to do this, is to still do like 2-minute stretching. I use often a video of Pamela Rife. It's called like 5 minutes stretch from bed or something like that, or 10 minutes stretch from bed. Anyways, it's a very short video that you can do literally every morning, and you can stretch directly from your bed, but that still makes you feel like you accomplished something even regarding your body. So very great. And right now, please make sure to take advantage of all the light you can get, because finally spring has started. Another good habit that I picked up recently to get myself out of a slump is the 5-minute rule. So if something is bothering you but it takes less than 5 minutes, just do it, okay? Because the thing is that procrastinating stuff is awful, not only because then you end up like feeling guilty maybe that you procrastinated something, but because you end up having double the stuff you would have had if you would have done everything on time at the end of the week maybe. So not only you feel guilty, but you somehow have to manage to do all that stuff within 2 days, which quite feels impossible, and it is impossible. So then what do? You have a mental breakdown, and then the loop starts again and you feel as and what's the point of that, right? I know that procrastinating is so easy, but it's hard after, okay? So remind yourself that and try to do the stuff that takes less than 5 minutes right away. And connected to this, a thing that I heard from Mel Robbins' podcast, that is one of my all-time favorites. I discovered her like 1 week ago and I've been listening to all her episodes one after another, is the brain dump, which I always did. But an interesting thing that she said and made me realize that I was probably doing it in the wrong way is that I was writing it as a to-do list. And she said, like, the brain dump is not a to-do list. You literally have to take what's clouding up in your brain and put it somewhere else, put it on paper, so that you have freed space in your mind. And I can't stress enough how important, another good habit that I picked up, yeah, I think since I started living here alone, so since my breakup and moving out and well, all of the stuff that you already know, I started tidying up my house first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So then my house is perfect and I can focus on something else, and that my space is amazing and I have like the most amazing life. Honestly, it's just a vibe. I think I've been yapping for a lot of time now. I love this series. I don't even know if you guys love it as much as I do, because I swear I just love speaking in English. And another thing that I probably never told anyone, but I've been telling my students when I'm tutoring them, is how I actually started to practice the conversation when I was living in Italy and I could not speak English with anyone. I started speaking alone. In my room, I would speak English all the time. I would narrate to someone what I was doing in English. Another good thing that you should try to do is to romanticize your life in a way that makes you feel like your life is exactly like your favorite movie. Do all my favorite things, like all together. I will drink my matcha, I will go to Pilates, I will go to the flower market, pick up a bunch of flowers for myself, meet up with my best friend, take a walk in the sun, watch my favorite YouTuber, I would watch my favorite TV series, I would read my favorite book, whatever that is. Then I will have the most productive week of my life ahead. Try to really focus on romanticizing your life and on the good things, even if they're small things, like this matcha. It could have perfectly been in an ugly mug I found somewhere in one of my kitchen counters, but instead I decided to romanticize one of my favorite drinks ever and buy this glass. Fun fact, I bought this glass specifically for the iced matcha, and also the straws. I bought these specifically because I wanted to sip my matcha with these. By the way, yeah, I'm running out of matcha, so I will end this video saying that another good habit that I will never get tired of repeating to myself and to you guys is to protect your energy and be well aware of the things that affect the way you feel and the way your energy shifts around people and situations. Say no to plans that don't excite you. Like, if you're not screaming and shouting for going out and doing that thing, don't do that. Invest time in good friendships, friendships that make you feel valued, friendships that push you to be your best every day. Detox from your phone, despite everything and despite nowadays society that wants us to believe otherwise. Social media is not reality. It's not worth it. It's not real life. Real life is looking out your window and seeing the sun, the grass, the trees, the sky. Life, that is life. Lastly, prioritize once again the things that make you feel good. Make time for them. Make time to cultivate your passions, because that is what will eventually change the entire course of your life. And if you can focus on your hobbies and if you can dedicate as much time as possible to the things that you love, then you will have a very good life. You will feel very accomplished. I just know that. You can't always focus on being productive, because sometimes even when you're the most productive, you don't feel well. You feel like something is missing. And that's because the thing that you should be putting on the top of your to-do list is in fact something that you really like, something that you're passionate about, a hobby, something that fulfills your soul and not just your mind or whatever ambition you have. So besties, those were some of my healthy habits. As usual in these videos, I like to talk without a script. I like to talk freely, just as I would do with one of my friends. I hope that still makes sense, and thank you very much for spending your time with me today. I hope to see you very soon. Let me know in the comments what's a huge habit that changed completely your life, or that you're trying to implement in your life to see some good stuff happening, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, love ya.